Flag salute. Everybody stand up, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we get a roll call, please?
Bradley.
Present.
Commissioner Halley.
Here.
Commissioner McClendon let us know she would not be here. Chairman Mobley
Here.
also is not here this evening, and Vice Chair Rogers.
Yes.
Commissioner Church.
Okay. Can we get approval of the December 10th meeting?
I make the motion that we approve them as submitted.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we're there. Okay. So we do, next day is oral comment from the public. Members of the public will be heard on items of interest not on the agenda. Speakers are addressed. The commission will be limited to 3 minutes. Be advised that by law, the commission is not able to deliberate or take action on issues presented during oral comment. Anybody have anything to say, want to do? I don't see anybody, so
Motion to close oral comments.
motion to close oral comment. Okay. Second?
Yeah. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We need to place him into order, that he's here?
Commissioner Blakely.
Here, okay, he's here.
Yes,
He's here.
I'm the late Mr.
Yay.
Murphy.
Okay, introduction of our new commissioner, Jason Church. So we need to go to,
Yeah, so we do have a new commissioner who's actually appointed as an alternate commissioner. The mayor appointed him or recommended him, and then the council approved that. So he is an alternate. He got pulled up to the dais. I warned him that that might happen, and so welcome to the dais, and welcome as a commissioner. So Jason Church.
welcome.
Welcome, yeah.
Good to have new blood.
And I would just also point out that Commissioner Mobley's chair position was reappointed as well by the mayor, so we're glad about that.
Sorry. That pesky paperwork. Okay, so now we move on, because it's that time of year, we need to have election for new chair and vice chair for the planning commission. So we're gonna bring it up to all of us, where you guys want to be and what you want to do, how you want to vote.
I'd like to make the motion that reappoint you as our chair tonight.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Okay,
I hear a freight train coming.
so how about a show of hands? Okay, well, okay, now how about our vice chair? Let's move on to that one.
I make a motion that we leave Larry in that position. He seems to be doing an admirable job of it.
Thank you.
I second it.
Cool.
Okay, anybody? Okay, I'll vote. All good, so,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on with this. We got a public hearing now. We got a few things on the board tonight. Since it's been a while, I guess we're gonna have a few, huh? So, first one is a public hearing to consider conditional use permit to allow expansion of existing contractor's yard, commercial thoroughfare district, including construction and 2 commercial buildings, expansion of existing office. Applicant is Went Construction. The project site is 6551 Ronerville. So we're gonna bring it to Liz.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Mobley and planning commissioners. So, yeah, this is a request for a conditional use permit to continue and expand the use or construct new buildings. It's not really an expansion of the use, but it's adding buildings to a contractor's yard. Project is located on Ronerville Road on the east side, right at the T of Redwood Way. It's shown on the overhead there. And this is an aerial of the site. It is in a commercial thoroughfare zone, so you can see commercial development on both sides on this aerial. And you can see the existing use, so you can see that it has been used or as a contractor's yard. And actually, we did research to see how far back it went, as that type of a use is sort of a, some type of contractors or equipment storage and trucks and repair shop. So it's been some decades that it's been used as that type of a use. So, and this proposal is for Went Construction to move their office and their yard and their repair buildings there. So it would be a continuation of that same type of use. So the proposal is to clean it up by adding some new buildings that you'll see on the next slides, and some fencing and paving at the front. And this is just a larger aerial that, again, shows a better idea of the commercial buildings. There's Empire Court to the north, Clyde's Towing to the south, and then residential across the street and further up the hillside. But this side of Ronerville Road is commercially zoned, and there are similar uses along that stretch. The general plan land use designation is commercial, and the zoning is commercial thoroughfare, and the zoning code states that the purpose of the commercial thoroughfare zone is to provide for retail, wholesale, highway, and heavy commercial uses, along with residential, warehousing and distribution, maintenance, repair, and servicing activities. So it's pretty compatible with the description of the commercial thoroughfare zone. And then the list of conditionally permitted uses does include contractors' shops and yards with issuance of a conditional use permit. And this is the site plan. So it's actually on 2 parcels. There's a parcel line here. The total acreage is 2.3 acres. And you can see the existing, there's a shop in the back, kind of towards the rear. The proposed buildings, a 6,000 square foot shop up front, and an 1,800 square foot shop here. The other line underneath that is an RV or a trailer that was used as an office. I believe that's been removed now, so it's really to replace that with a new building. And then there's an existing office building, and the proposal is to expand that office building. And you can see proposed paving right now. Currently, it's not paved, so that kind of contributes to, the sort of a blight, I guess I would call it. And this will be paved in this area here, and parking spaces added, paved parking spaces, a fence separating protecting the access to the shops back there, and then a driveway entrance, of course, at the parking lot. So the continued activities would include truck parking, equipment storage, vehicle repair, and the management office. I think that's pretty much it. This is the same type of use, and the building department would issue building permits for the new buildings. You have a resolution with conditions of approval. As far as the planning and the building department, those are pretty straightforward. Building permit, design review is on the agenda next for those buildings. I'm going to go over those really quickly right now so that you can kind of review those in relation to the request for a conditional use permit. And then there's some engineering conditions, and those are really standard for this type of a development as well. Things like having appropriate drainage for the equipment wash in the back, and LID, for stormwater in the front. Things of that type that really are going to be incorporated on the building permit as well. So I'm going to go over the design review section. So this is the building up front along Ronerville Road. And this is the frontage, so you can see they've done some really nice design work to break up the mass and kind of help it blend in with, I think this helps a lot with the residential area across the street. So it's got a bi-level roof, and it's got plenty of windows on the front and some wainscoting along the base. And then the porch, or the entry cover on the south side. And this is the side facing the north on Prior Court, which is the Prior Court side really just butts up against some, the backs of those metal buildings. So there's no impact or no visual, and nobody looking at that building from that side. This is the building behind the office. So this is the 1,800 square foot building, and it's really not very visible from Ronerville Road, so it doesn't have the adornments as the larger building, which butts, closer to Ronerville Road. And it'll be behind the two-story office building, so that kind of blocks the visual, as well as being behind a fence, the new fence that's proposed. This is that same building, so it's more of a basic metal building. This is the office building. You can see that it's got a lot of nice features. It also will blend in, really contribute to the residential look on Ronerville Road, the porch cover, the nice roof lines, and the columns there. So the colors of all of the buildings are basically going to follow this format. The trim color with the royal blue, body color gray, and then the darker gray roof. And this is the proposed fence. They've kind of really stepped up, and this is a really nice, I think, design feature that's going to make it look really nice and clean. It's got the stone columns and then the horizontal boards and lighting on each of the fence caps. And then they've submitted a landscaping plan along the front and in front of the office building, between the office building and the parking spaces. And then these are the landscaping features, the plants. I won't go through each name. I think these were included in your packet, but these are the shrubs that will be planted in accordance with that landscaping plan that you saw, and then some trees. And that's it. And I think that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll pass that back to the commission.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Liz or staff? I don't see any. So at this time, we'll open it up for public comment. So anybody would like to speak on this project? It's up to you, whatever you'd like to do.
I think we have everything.
I think we do have everything,
Did I
but
miss anything, or do you want to add any supporting comments?
Just a couple things on the actual little picture that you have of the building. It shows kind of a tan stone at the bottom, and that is actually going to be gray to match the gray roof. And as well as the fence post that showed the stone, that stone is also going to be gray to bring the whole project together. So it's all going to match, and it's all going to look really nice.
so one question I had on the whole project when I was looking at it, I know the old buildings are still there. Are they coming down, or are they going to be retrofitted over time, or?
We don't know. We got to get in there first and figure out how much we need that space. Realistically, I would love to tear them down and build new buildings, but that costs money. So
Yes.
we're going to use them to start out with. We're using the smaller one right now for the carpenter shop and concrete materials and tools. And the other one is actually Nathan Johns is still there, and he's actually using it for a shop space. But right now it's going to be more storage. And then as we can get on our feet and recover from this project, it'd be nice to put another building back there, because those are kind of in the middle. And so like getting our trucks around them is going to be a little bit challenging. We could probably take them down, relocate, and do a better job of using the property down the road. But if that happens, we'll be back.
It's always been the same thing with that property.
But
It's always been the same thing with that property
yeah,
from way back when. Okay. Anybody else like to speak on this subject? Okay, seeing none, looking to
Make a motion
close.
to close public comment.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, okay. We'll bring it back to all of you. Any discussion on this project? Anybody want to say anything? Got any issues?
So I have one. This is a solid project, and I think you guys are doing the right thing. And just, I have to ask, you know, because I've hired you guys to do work for me in the past and will do so in the future, is this a case where I need to recuse?
You don't have a direct financial benefit from this action, from your participation.
No, they do good work.
We've had plenty of people who,
Okay.
it's a small town and, you know, business and planning commission kind of interact. I mean, they don't interact, but yeah, we've all used people who have come before.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Liz. I was just trying to do clean work, you know?
Anyone
appreciate it.
else? Well, I think it's a great project, too. It looks really good. Like the new office project, looks like it'll fit in really nice over there, along with everything else. So just looks like you're gonna clean up an eyesore over that way. It's been that way for a while, so. Okay, so bring it back to you guys.
Well,
Anybody
Mr.
want
Chair,
to make a
I'd
motion?
like to make the motion. I'd like to make the motion to adopt resolution number P as in Paul 20203030, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Fortuna approving a conditional use permit to allow expansion of the existing contractor's yard in the commercial thoroughfare district, including construction of 2 commercial buildings and the expansion of an existing office.
I'll second.
Okay. I'll bring it to you for a roll call.
Aye.
Yes.
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 All right. That's nice. Okay, let's move on to the second half of that project. The design review, a public hearing to consider the conditional use, allow expansion for existing construction contractor's yard. So this is the design review part of this building. And with all the colors, landscape, and all the other pretties that go along with it. So with that, we'll bring it back to Liz.
Yeah, so I think I just presented you all of the information from the design review component. I don't have anything else to add, so if you have any questions, or maybe someone's had some thoughts about the design, but it doesn't sound like it, but, so I don't have anything to add. You can just proceed as necessary.
I really like what I've seen so far.
So we gotta go through the motion, so public comment on this. Anybody want to say anything? Sorry. Public comment on this. Anybody want to say anything, do anything, talk about it? Okay.
I'll make the motion, we close public comment.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So, anybody got anything they want to talk about on this project as far as color-wise, lighting, trees, bushes, parking? Man, really quiet.
It looks gorgeous. I like it.
Okay. Looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion. I'll make the motion to adopt resolution number P as in Paul 2020-3031, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Fortuna approving design review of the new commercial building and office remodel at an existing contractor's yard for wet construction.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Yes.
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 There you go. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, moving on. Okay, so this is a continuance of an old building that we started way back when. So design review application for construction of a 900 square foot commercial building.
9,600.
Oh, it's just 9,600, excuse me. Thank you. And our applicant is Dale Lawrence, and this is on Alomar Way. Ready. Back to you, Liz.
Chairman Mobley. So, yeah, this is a proposal to construct a 9,600 square foot metal building on a vacant parcel located on Alomar Way, which is in the Freeway Commercial District near the River Lodge, west of Highway 101. And so it's in this area here, kind of close to the Kenmar underpass. And then this is a detail of the parcel. You did approve a subdivision, I think that was in November, which is so that's in process now. It hasn't been completed, but it's a single parcel, and so a building permit may be issued, at any time, since it's a single parcel, but there is a proposed lot split there, which is in process. And this is the elevations. You do have yard plans in your packet. The site plan is in this upper corner there, so you can see it does front and get access on Alomar Way. That is improved with the sidewalk currently. There's a driveway into the entrance. There are 12 parking spaces on the site. And so the front area would be paved, the back area would be for storage and left in gravel. You can see the elevations here, so there would be a series of bay doors on each side. And then the side facing Alomar Way is right here. And you can see that they have added, so they've got 2 walk-in doors, a window, and a bay door. And they've added columns and porch covers, so that's a nice design feature on that side. You have a better view of those. This shows the coloring, the royal blue on the roof and on the bay doors. And then the exterior will be gray, and I believe the trim is white. And then this is the view of the side facing Alomar Way, and also the location of the sign. And then they've added stone around at the base of the columns and around a planter here. And then you can see more detail on the porch covers. So they've got some detail in there, so it's got some nice design to it. And you can, on this view, you can see the overhang of the roof. And the planting, I think this one, okay, there we go. The landscaping areas would be included in the 5-foot setbacks, and that's required in that freeway commercial zone, that the setback areas actually be landscaped. And then the front landscaping area, and then they have a couple of trees in the little curve area there. Sorry. And then these are the landscaping details. So the trees are Japanese maple, and then the shrubs in those side areas are coleus, which are like a small shrub. So in your packet, I've got the design review considerations, and then the basic conditions, which are basically supporting building permit. And then we also have standard conditions for design review, which covers that trash enclosures be screened, types of the size of landscaping, things like that. So those are lighting and things like that. So if you have any questions on those, I'll be happy to answer those. I'll turn that back to the commission.
Okay, back to you guys.
Liz, did we have a design review before with this one? There were some things that we had sent back. I was trying to remember what they were.
They had submitted a design review packet. It was on the agenda following that subdivision that you approved, but you didn't hear it. They wanted to pull that and wait, and they did actually add some of the design features that you see.
That's what I thought. It looked like there's a few additional things on the frontage there with this,
Yeah, so that item was never opened, so it wasn't
Okay.
really anything formally.
I thought it looked familiar. I just was trying to jog my memory a little bit. Thank you.
Wasn't Ed Tanferani associated with this?
Yeah, he is the property owner,
Okay.
so he's undertaking the subdivision, and then it's my understanding that once that subdivision is completed, then he would sell this piece to the applicant, Dale Lawrence.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll open up to public comment. Please step up.
Derek Long, the engineer on this. The first time we did look at this, it was voted down. Due to the front, that was kind of the feedback I got from everybody was the front elevation needed some more, so that's why we added an awning, a door, and a couple windows to change the front up. So that's, if it seems familiar, yeah, we did talk about the front of the building, but
That's what I thought, yeah.
that's the only change on this.
You did a good job on that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I'm sure water quality's been all over this area a couple hundred times on, I remember they had to go dig stuff up, and so I'm sure
Yeah,
they're
the Water
finally
Quality
okay with
Control
this.
Board, we did put the subdivision through and worked with them because they've got an order, what they call an order on the site as to how, certain restrictions, and any building permit will go through them because they need to check the compliance with their order.
Gotcha.
We'll work with them on the building permit.
And this all works with our area that we wanted to have for freeway commercial type? And,
Yeah, this use is principally permitted.
cool, okay. Okay, so looking for a motion to close public comment unless there's anybody else? Nobody else?
I'll make that motion to close public comment.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so back to you guys. Anybody have any questions, comments, happy thoughts?
Looks good from the last time. I do recall that frontage, like you said. I thought that was something that we addressed. It just seemed too boxy, if I remember correctly. So you did a great job per our request, and I appreciate that very much.
Okay, looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion. Motion to adopt resolution number P-2020-3028, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Fortuna approving design, review for elevations, landscaping, and building colors for Dale's Diesel.
I'll second that.
There we go. So we can get a roll call, please.
Yes.
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 All right, there you go. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Been a while. Okay, so moving on to our next order of business, design application for remodel of a building fascia, including new windows, lighting and colors. This is another redo of a old one.
Yes. Yeah, so this is a design review for a building located at the southeast corner of 11th and Main Streets. That's in the downtown retail commercial business district. And so that's shown on the overhead there. So it's right here, City Hall, and it's just right here at the southeast corner. And this is the proposed building. And let's see. It has been before the Planning Commission, actually twice over the years. And they've been, the main thing, their main building thing was to repair the rot that was in the old awning. The awnings come down. previously there was a solid awning that was proposed to replace that, and so now they're proposing what they're calling a trellis awning. I've messed up my slides here. And then they're also proposing, instead of just the solid beams, to cover those in stone. And then they're also, this was a stucco, kind of a stucco surface up on the top, and they're proposing horizontal siding. Gary, did I get that right? I know Gary's been working with the owner really closely, and they've been kind of doing the work, the previously approved work, at kind of a piecemeal basis. So they want to kind of wrap it up, and hopefully they'll get this carried out. But Gary, why don't you describe it really quickly? 'Cause I don't
Yeah, the
do a
original
better
building
job.
the original building that was proposed, which was approved, was a stucco finish, the complete top section and all the way down the side. It also was having new storefronts and down the side of 11th Street, which is no longer happening. They're not gonna touch that part of the facade. What they're touching is the upper portion and the bottom portion of the wall structure and the columns. In the original approved design, there was lap siding that was approved, and it was to go around the two lower left-hand side where the bar location is. That was approved in there. They have decided to take that look there and then put it all up above and run it continuous on the front. So it's all gonna be cedar stained, lap siding on the front. In lieu of putting in a sort of a projection porch covering overhang, which was going to be built into and so on, they've come up with a pergola, little trellis kind of thing sticking out. It's projecting out, it will be projecting out, wait for that right now. I have seen the cut lumber already, ready to go in. It'll be projecting out probably about 30 inches, which will be every 4 feet, which will be a 4-inch by 8-inch. I think it's 4 by 8, could be 4 by 6, but I think it's 4 by 8 with a detail, so it isn't blunt, it's sculptured every 4 feet, and then it'll have a little bit of a trellis. But now the upper stuff that's going on top of that, that's gonna be redwood projecting out and stained. But the stuff that's going on top, what they're proposing is a anodized aluminum. It's kind of what you see those dark storefronts made out of. The idea is it won't rot, it won't rust, it won't do anything. It'll just stay there. Don't have to worry about painting it or doing anything. So that's where you would get the decay first on this building if there was gonna be something. So it's gonna eliminate that process. So it's just kind of to let it have a little,
Just question, I know that sidewalk right there on one side is a little off compared to the other. Is that in that works at the same time?
nope,
No.
nope, this is just facade. Nothing to do with correcting any imperfections within getting in and out of the building. Now, what was approved also, the 4 columns was just gonna be stucco. It's just gonna be gray stucco, so this was a very gray building.
Right.
Approved. The stone is now gonna be gray, but it's gonna be stacked slate style stone.
And all the windows down the side are now gone.
Well, they're not gone, they just never, there's no windows there. and there's
Right,
no-
they're not, they're in the old plan.
At this point.
Okay.
We will make sure that's all flashed to the top. One of the big issues, they started taking that stuff off, that metal that was up there. That's why it's covered right now with all the Tyvek. Got up there and they shot us pictures over and we looked at them and so on, and it was rotted.
Yeah.
So if it started peeling off there, the whole thing was gonna peel off. So we told them to take it off. And then we had them sheet that front, get it ready for whatever's gonna come along now. Then cover it up for this event right now.
And then on the backside, that one little, business is gonna get the same kind of frontage to a point, from what it looks like, the same kind of coloring,
The side or the back one?
the back one.
I don't think she's proposing that. It doesn't say any of the paperwork. But knowing Nicole, if this turns out as pretty as what I think this is a nice, the material and wood and so on, my opinion. But I wouldn't put it by her to down the road go, well, it's been on the plans, was it approved? It should have been approved, but I could see her doing that. But when I did look at the thing, it was another front facade, not down the side. Because right now, that building is nothing but stucco also. There's nothing to it.
Right.
It looks,
Any trims or anything.
yeah, it looks like it's gonna be similar to what's on the top part of the building on the frontage, looking at the side view of this one picture on page 61 in the packet. I think you're looking at it now in the bottom right corner of your,
Oh,
it looks like it's this, what she's doing with that small shop there toward the back of the building on 11th, yeah.
yeah.
It looks like it's the same to what's gonna be above the,
Oh, that is what it's shown on here, but I
Yeah.
don't know if she addressed doing anything with that, Liz?
that was one of my questions, because I didn't see that necessarily developed in the plan, but I'm assuming, which is probably the wrong thing to do, that was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
you see it in the picture, so you assume.
Yeah. And knowing her, she would want those to match. So,
So I guess my question, Gary, are we approving that part of it as well? Is this a package, or is this a separate project for that back area?
well,
So on,
definitely be something Liz would need to answer, but
Okay,
yeah, on page 63, and I think you have these on the large
Oh, I
plans.
see, yeah, where she cut it off, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
the designer drew.
I see
that's
that.
Drew
the
around
typical
it, yeah, he
standard,
did.
that they'll draw a bubble around the proposed changes.
Got it.
So they're
Okay,
not proposing anything different for the smaller building.
thank you.
Okay. So bring it back to the panel, or open it up to public comment, but I don't see nobody, so bring it back to you guys.
Well, I think they did a good job. I'm impressed. It's gonna really dress up the area here downtown, and I think it's, even though it's kitty corner from Greens, I think it's starting to kind of dress up the downtown area, and I like that.
Yes, I do too.
Anybody else? Anyone? All good? Yeah, I think it looks, I like the new look. I like the windows down the side too, but, and you can only do so much, with so much money and so much time, so. I like the look. Okay, looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion to adopt Resolution P as in Paul 2020-3029, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Fortuna approving remodel of the building facade, including new windows, siding, and colors.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
All right, there it is. Okay. How about staff report?
Hey, Liz,
Anything?
can I ask a question first, Liz? If Nicole came back in later and wanted to do the siding on that back section, just the hair salon portion over here, would she have to go through the same process we have here, or would we have any leeway within the planning building department to?
She might, it just depends on the intensity of the change. So if it's minor changes can be approved by staff. If it's considered a significant change, then it would need to come to the planning commission.
Would this be considered a minor?
I haven't looked at it, that section that closely to be able to
Okay.
answer that.
I would think if it fell under the purview of what we have here before us and what we've approved today, that there shouldn't be a problem with that.
If it's because it's similar in nature and the same type of siding that's already been approved.
If it's
I agree.
coming along.
It just makes sense because it's finishing the project, in my opinion.
yeah. It'll stick out like a sore thumb if it's not finished.
Okay, great, thanks.
So any staff report this month? You guys look like you've been busy with all this stuff.
We've been busy with a lot of stuff. We recently, last week, we had a workshop with the city council, where periodically, the city manager and the council will schedule a workshop to just discuss, not in a public hearing, not on TV, but just in a more informal, lengthier kind of, and typically we will discuss priorities. So the council will identify what their priorities are for what we call long-range planning projects. So that is usually ordinances. And in this case, they did direct staff to initiate work on the short-term rental ordinance, which it would be like Airbnbs. So, you know, houses or rooms in houses that the public can rent out on a short-term basis. So I think you guys are probably familiar with those, and they're really popular. And we do have some in the city. They're not permitted because our ordinance doesn't really allow them. And therefore, we don't collect transient occupancy tax, so which distresses the city manager. And so he's been involved in kind of pushing that forward to help with the budget. So that is coming to the Planning Commission, and we expect that at the next meeting. So what the council was, to start with, they really wanted to, the purpose is to be able to collect transient, TOT tax, and also kind of items that protect the public health and safety, like does it need
Yeah.
parking, noise, any noise issues, and having an enforcement method. So we haven't had any complaints from any neighbors yet, but it's the kind of thing that could be like a ticking time bomb where, based on experiences of other jurisdictions. So yeah, just look forward to that. And we are, gonna kind of put it out there a little bit so that we can get some public comment from,
I'm sure we will.
So this is, that'll be coming to the next planning commission, and
yes.
it's not just about TOT tax, it's actually a pretty small amount, but we've had a lot of inquiries of people who want to do it, they want to do it legally, they want to provide that kind of a service legally, and they want to pay their taxes, and they come to us and say, sorry.
And have a business license and
And they'd have to get a business license. So there's a small amount of revenue, it's not huge. And the main thing is if people are already going to provide those short-term rentals, that we have a mechanism for them to do so with the protections that Liz mentioned.
yeah. You got a big day coming up on Friday too.
Thursday, we have the State of the
Thursday.
City breakfast, and that's from 7 a.m. to 9, I believe. And so we'll be presenting a number of things at the River Lodge. It's put on by the Chamber of Commerce. I know there are still seats available, I believe. So you could talk to the chamber if you wanted to find a spot there, but I think they're finalizing that very quickly.
I actually, if anybody wants to go, I have one extra ticket. I have two. So if anybody wants to go, I have one.
I was supposed to be there, but I will be out of town. Well, I will be on a plane while you're talking.
We'll be preparing a presentation to really kind of review some of the trends in the city. We'll have a short section on what's been happening with planning and building, and acknowledging all the volunteers and committees too. The mayor insisted upon that, and it's great that we have a full planning commission too. I know that was a struggle a while ago, so it's nice to see everybody and to have an alternate. So appreciate everybody's effort there and willingness to step up.
All right, looks like we're ready to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Hey.
Let's go home.